So, are you looking for some new books to read? Are you looking for some new authors? Well, grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, cup of soda, whatever your pleasure. It's a little cold in my house this morning, so I'm having some hot chocolate. And since I don't want to spill it all over myself with my pal here, I'm just going to put it down. I'm still cold though. So, let's see. My name, Kristina, and it's nice to meet you. It's a sunny day, sunny day. Okay. So welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Kristina, like I said. This is where we read books and talk about books. There's no special effects going on here at all. And I hope you will check out Star Trek Recap Fridays, Star Trek Friday afternoon, if you like this author, maybe you'll like that author. And Flashback Mondays, where we talk about all the books and authors from 2009. You're looking for some new authors that have been out there a while, that have got an established series. And where are my glasses? Got an established series. You want to go in and binge read a half dozen? You come to the right place. You're looking for a new author you never heard of before, who's been around a while. This is the place to come. I love this magazine. They did over 200 plus reviews a month. They did mystery, historical, romance, contemporary romance, inspirational, sci-fi, paranormal, urban, which then became merged, and Harlequin and erotica, and we will cover them all today. So, I was surprised. Let me get my notes back in order here. First, we'll come back to it, but so here we go. November 2009. We're almost finished with 9. We're heading into 10. She's always got to go off. Every video, regardless. Okay, she's done. Sexy guy inside cover. Looking for erotica book. Kuda Al Newman refuses to be snared by love, but when Kuda sees beautiful raven-haired Layla, he decides he wants the slave girl for himself. Or you into paranormal erotica? I can remember your strength and your gentleness, a strong combination to be sure, but a potent, intoxicating one. Your pale blue eyes will haunt me for the rest of my days, for ours is a passion indulged only in darkness and ends now with the first shaft of daylight on the dawn of midnight winter. Interesting. Winter's Desire. I can sit here and read this magazine for hours, even today. Not a problem. I've been going through this for 2 weeks now to plan this one. And we will get to all of these. They do a big article on Joy Nash, if you like her. She's got The Grail King, Deep Magic, Silver Silence. Like most authors, Joy Nash was a writer. She was a reader. Unlike most, however, before she was an author, she was an architect. Nash admits that she didn't do a lot of writing when she was completing her degree in architecture at Notre Dame or studying abroad in Rome, but that didn't stop her from acquiring some of the tools necessary to construct a novel, namely a thick skin and the ability to handle criticism, the patience to work on detailed projects for long periods of time, and creativity to come up with new ones. And cozies are starting to take off. So we've got a whole bunch of cozies. And some of these authors are still around. Let's see. There's something about a cozy mystery that excites readers. No, it's not just the murder and the mayhem, though that's certainly part of it. It's their down-to-earth quality, the familiar nature of the characters and setting. One of the reasons cozy mysteries are so popular is because they're focused on the characters in this series. I'm a series person. I like series progression. I like to follow the characters from book to book to book as they grow. So they mentioned Elise Hyatt, Dipped, Stripped, and Dead, a furniture restorator who solves mysteries. Crawl Space. People like to read about people who know how to do things and whose skills are just a bit more developed than their own, says the author of January's Crawl Space, the 13th novel in her series. People who can do and accomplish something are attractive in books and in life. And then we have the baking. They mentioned Krista Davis. The Diva Takes the Cake. You'll check out my videos from last year. I did all of the Krista Davis series. I really enjoyed that. She did a lot of baking. I gained quite a bit of weight. So I had to, I have seminal messages. Krista Davis, who pens Primes, Crimes, Domestic Diva series, The Diva Takes the Cake, says, unlike thrillers of madmen and serial killers, most cozies revolve around ordinary people. Even though something has gone horribly wrong in their life, food still unites them, whether it's a midnight snack because no one can sleep or putting on a brave face to serve Thanksgiving dinner. And she could just pull out a gourmet meal out of her fridge out of leftovers. It just used to like, And Joanne Carl, Chocolate Cupid Killings. There's quite a few of them that do solve the mystery while baking cupcakes, solve the mystery while making 6-course dinners, solve the mystery while riding bikes, solve the mystery while knitting, book club mysteries, they're all out there. Solve the mystery by doing puzzles. Check those out. I bet they're on cozymystery.com. Rita Mae Brown, I bet you didn't hear her, huh? I did a video about cats being the detectives a couple weeks ago. Rita Mae Brown. They're very popular. There's about 10 authors that do pet solving mysteries. They mentioned Rita Mae Brown, who writes the Long and Less and Miss Murphy series, and her cat Sneaky Pie Brown. There's also Brown, Braun, and there's a whole bunch of them. Check my If Then episode. I mentioned quite a few of them. So more cooking. Draped Dead Stitch. So Draped Dead Stitch. 5 months later, Kelly Quinn walked on stage in my head and brought the mystery with her. Stefan's advice for new knitters: don't start a new project all alone at your home. So solve a mystery while knitting. Cricket McRae's Home Crafting Mystery Series with Sophie May Reynolds, who makes soap. And we will be talking about Carolyn Hart's Merry Ghost, Victoria Laurie Doom with a View, Charlaine Harris Grave Secret. We'll be talking about those in this magazine later. Now, we're going to be talking about this a couple times. Now, you all know, and if you haven't already, please check out my Beatrice Small Sky O'Malley series. What did I do with those? Oh, they're over here. Please check out my Sky O'Malley series. She is, depending on how you look at it, either 200 years before Claire or 400 years before Claire. If you think of Claire as the 1940s World War II nurse, then it's 400 years. If you think of Claire Beecham Randall Fraser in Jamie's time, then it's 200 years. Sky takes place in 1555, and it goes up to the 1600s. And this is a heroine to beat all heroines. She has to deal with Elizabeth Tudor and all these political stuff and all this harassment and all these different husbands and family influences and politics. she's awesome. So please check out my recap of these books. This one I did in 2 parts, the rest I did in 1 part, and they run over an hour because there's just so much to unpack in these books. And so we're going to just talk a little bit about Outlander because they did a big, huge article in here. You know, there are still people, I've got the DVDs too. I should have brought those over, but I didn't. I've got the DVDs 1 through 6. I'm waiting for the entire season of 7 to come out before I get it all. But here you go. See this? This is 2009, but we are still talking Outlander today. It is still relevant today. You pick up Time or People or something like that, it's history. This is current stuff. This is currently going on. There are new people discovering Outlander all the time. This is relevant. This magazine was awesome. I lived and breathed by it. I did my shopping list by it. I'm getting a little, after 2010, I got involved with my own books. So my supply of books after 2010 is going to be limited. So I need to start buying again. Echoes of the Past, and we're going to talk about that when it gets to the review. We won't start that yet. She started writing for practice and created a big, weird book that didn't fit into any particular genre. She broke the rules of writing by creating scenes out of order in a random fashion that eventually became an agglomeratic whole. Yet, best-selling phenomenon Diana Gabaldon didn't let any of that stop her natural storytelling abilities. Gabaldon is now up to book 7 in her renowned Outlander series. Since the first hardcover release of Outlander in 1991, Gabaldon has created a small publishing empire with multiple best-selling books in the series, as well as the compiled. I didn't bring that over. I've got it over there. A companion series. And so they ask her, Diana, for readers who might not know how you got started in your writing career, could you share a little of that with us? I wanted to be a novelist at a very early age, but I came from a very conservative background. Instead of encouraging me to write, my father cautioned me to work in a field where I could support my family. I put my writing aspirations on hold and went to a university where I earned a master's degree in marine biology and a PhD in ecology. My dissertation was a 400-page work titled Nest Site Selection in the Pinyon Day Glorious Cephalophoros, or as my husband says, why birds build nests where they do and who cares anyway. When I turned 35, I thought to myself, Mozart was dead at 36. If you want to write a novel, maybe you'd better get started. So I asked myself what was the easiest possible book for me to write for practice. After considerable thought, it seemed to me that perhaps historical novel would be the easiest thing to try. I was a research professor after all. I had huge university library available, and I knew how to use it. I thought it seemed a little easier to look up things than to make them up, and if I turned out to have no imagination, I could steal things from historical record. Having no formal background in history, I figured one time or place would do as well as another. How did you decide on Scotland? It was quite by accident, really. I was watching an episode of Doctor Who with a young Scottish lad named Jamie McCrimmon, whom the Doctor had picked up in 1745. This character wore a kilt and I thought was rather fetching, and he demonstrated a form of pig-headed male gallantry that I've always found endearing. The strong urge on the part of the man to protect a woman, even though he may realize that she's plainly capable of looking after herself. Echo in the boat. We will get to that. It's reviewed, and we will get to that when they review it. And let's see. And you know, I lived through this, and it feels like it was yesterday, and it's been over 15 years now. uh, the captain who landed the plane in the Hudson Bay. Earlier this year, we were all transfixed by what the media dubbed the miracle on the Hudson, the successful emergency landing of U.S. Airways Flight 1549 in the Hudson River after the plane ran into a flock of birds. The pilot, by Captain Chelsea Sullenberger, whom many credit with saving the lives of all 155 on board. Sully, as he's called, gave a few interviews in the weeks following the dramatic landing. Now his life story is being told in the words of October Highest Duty, my search for what really matters. See? This stuff is still relevant today. Alright, let's see now. Cooking the books. Solving a murder mystery while cooking. Joanna Fluke, we still talk about her today. Debbie Maycomer, we still talk about her today. I'm telling you. Nali Singh. Nicole Peeler, Lori Brighton, and Cece Coburn. There you go. Diane Whiteside, I used to have quite a few books. They were a little on the adulty side. What are we talking about? Monica McCrae, we've talked about her several times. The Highlander series. She posts a lot of videos on Scotland on her website. New author spotlight. Force My Hand by E.M. Brown. Wild Heart by Lori Brighton. The Captain's Lady by Lauren Eckhart. And Dragon Rose by Ginny Rifkin. New author spotlight. Again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. She stopped at 8. That's rare. Alright. Historical romance. Let's see. Edith Layton. There you go, right there. To Love a Wicked Lord. I didn't even think I should have looked over there. 4.5 stars. A novel that's lively and sensual with just the right touches of humor caps off Layton's final romance. The Regency world comes to life as a wickedly handsome hero. Sharp-tongued heroine and her ditzy grandmother are drawn together. It demonstrates how much this multifaceted author who died earlier this year will be missed. It's been 7 months since Philadelphia Carstairs' betrothed rode off after her engagement party. Pippa's grandfather commissions Maxwell Sutton, the Marquis of Montrose, to find the fiancé. Maxwell seems foppish, but Pippa discovers that underneath layers of ennui is a charming gentleman with a wicked wit. She's sure he'll locate her betrothed, but she's not sure she's still in love with him. Maxwell evokes feelings she's never had for another. The more Waxwell knows about Pippa, the more he wants her. But whatever is between them must wait until her fiancé is found. Stephanie Lawrence, The Untamed Bride. And if you have not already, please go check out my Sinster video from last year. We go through them all, and the Bastion Club, It's an awesome series if you like historicals, character progression, and the characters go through all the books. You'll see reoccurring characters through all of the series, all of them. So please check out my video from last year, the Sinsters. And also my If Then, I did the Sinsters a couple times. And I did an If Then. If you like the Bridgertons, then you'll like the Sinsters. So check out I think that was my first If Then. Lawrence has created another incredible series connected to the Sinsters and the Bastion Club. The Marvel's adventure story is wrapped in an exciting plot built around a dynamic hero and heroine whose depth of emotion reaches out to touch the reader on every level. Superb. In the aftermath of Waterloo, 4 soldiers joined the East India Company as special forces to maintain the peace in India. Their mission: capture a terrorist known as the Black Cobra. Colonel Deck Delbro develops a plot to force the Cobra to go to England, but it entails risk to him and his shipmates. When he reaches Southampton, Del meets Delilah Buchanan, who wants him to take her home. When he's attacked and her quick thinking saves his life, Del relents and takes her on his journey. Along the way, they become enthralled with one another, but both are still wary right up to the emotional and suspenseful climax. And I'm going to tell you, this book, this much, and the Buccaneers, they're all written at the same time. All the books intertwine. It's amazing how much work she did on this. And it was heart-wrenching. So picture this author who does a huge, massive series, a very interwoven, 5-star books, all of them, especially the Buccaneer series and this series, and the Bastion Club. It's all interwoven. And the Buccaneer series is huge. It's like a couple, 400 or 500 pages each book. And they're intertwined. They're all happening at the exact same time. And she keeps the story straight all through all the books. She writes this masterpiece, these marvels. And then the book we literally waited 20 years for. Absolutely serious. Waited 20 years. I was happy I was still alive to see it. And I got the feeling that her publisher was like, look, your readers have been clamoring for this book for a very, very, very long time. You need to write this book. And you need to, so I think she just sat down, not because she wanted to write it, but because everybody else wanted her to write it. And it was the worst book she's ever written, ever. And I wish one day she would go back and rewrite it and fix it. But the rest of these books are fantastic. These are all 5 stars. The newer one, 2 stars. But this series, the Bastion Club, the Sinsters, the Buccaneers, 5 stars. The massive talent, the massive research that went into it, the meticulousness of them all is awesome. But the kids series fell flat. Okay. Let's see. Susan Enoch. The Care and Taming of a Rogue. Four stars. Enoch tames another scoundrel by matching him up with his ideal woman in this lively, fast-paced, and utterly delightful tale. Readers will enjoy the spritly heroine and dauntless hero as they fall passionately in love and outwit a villain. Presumed dead, explorer Sir Bennet Wolfe returns home to learn his friend David Langley left him with a spear through his body, published his journals, and made a fortune. Lady Philippa Flip Edison has read every one of Bennet's books and longs for the adventures he had. Soon, she's drawn into his latest mission to prove that book is really his. Not only does Bennet admire Flip's body, but he finds her mind and courage even more tantalizing. As a team, they're unbeatable, and when danger arises, Flip is ready to risk all to help the man she loves. Anna Campbell. Captive Sin. Right there. 4.5 stars. Campbell holds readers captive with her highly intense, emotional, sizzling, and dark romance. She instinctively knows how to play on her readers' fantasies to create a romantic, deep-side tale. When Sir Gideon Traffic comes upon a young woman hiding in a stable, he's stunned by her fear and the obvious beating she's endured. He vows to see her to safety. Wealthy heiress Lady Charis Wilson has to survive the 3 weeks until her 21st birthday, when she will no longer be her brutal stepbrother's ward. Gideon is her savior and champion. Though haunted by his past, Gideon proposes a marriage of convenience to Charis, saving her from further harm. But she will settle for nothing less than true love and must convince Gideon to believe in himself worthy of love, even if a bit of sin, surrender, and loss of control are part of her plan. Did that one. Jenna Peterson. What the Duke Desires. This one. 4 stars. Peterson writes passion with a capital P. The dialogue is authentic and the characters believable, but it's the gripping tension and the numerous plot twists that will keep readers riveted. Miss Lillian Mayhew is out for revenge. Her troubled mother killed herself because of the Duke of Billingham. Since the Duke is dead, she sets out to destroy his sterling reputation. As the new Duke Simon Crowthorne is shopping for a bride, his home is filled with potential mates, but it's the unsuitable Miss Mayhem who captures his heart. Together they explore the dark secrets of his father's past until Lily has all the evidence she needs. But to destroy the father's reputation, she must destroy the man she loves. Lily doesn't want any lies between them. She only hopes their love is strong enough to survive her confession. Jillian Hunter. The Wicked Duke takes a wife. What page? 4.5 stars. The second in Hunter's back-to-back duet brings another boss Boscastle to his knees. Sparkling rapier, sharp dialogue plays well into the stance of desire, as an arrogant hero meets his match in a half-witted turned lady. You'll sigh with pleasure of the end of this romance. It was the kindness of Boscastle's that pulled Harriet Gardner out of London slums and into a position as an instructor at the Ladies' Academy. When Lord Grifton Boscastle arrives at the school to deposit his incorrigible niece in Harriet's care, he lingers there because the unconventional, outspoken Harriet intrigues him. He might be a rogue, but she's the only woman who's interested in him more than a quick kiss and tumble. Griffin's companion, to have her help find him a niece, keeps tabs on his niece and uncover who's trying to harm her. Thrust them together and he discovers she's the bravest woman he knows. Lorraine Heath, Midnight Pleasures with a Scoundrel. 4.5 stars. The Scoundrels of St. James series, Heath's unique take on Oliver Twist, has won readers' hearts. The latest is a tender, compassionate love story with all the twists of great mystery. It will enthrall readers with its originality. James Swindler has watched his friends from Fagin's crew begin new lives. Working as an inspector, he tries to put his past behind him. His latest assignment is to watch over a woman suspected of plotting murder. Eleanor Wickens has come to London to avenge her sister's death. She's distracted by the handsome man who rescues her from the pleasure gardens and continues to watch her. James hopes to lure her away from her plan, even if he has to seduce her. Falling in love is neither of their shames, but when they do, they are drawn deeper into a nefarious plot that could end in danger and death. Okay. What page is... I know I saw it. It's not listed. I know it's here. I saw it. All right. One more. Let me go back here. I didn't write the page down. In the 4 stories. Oh, should we do? All right, let's do this other one. Oh, it is in here. Yeah, what was I looking for? It's 4 stars. Here we go. 4 stars. A Creed Country Christmas. Miller introduces readers to Lincoln Creed, the legendary patriot of her contemporary series, and gives her fans with a wonderful, satisfying, tender, and loving story. It's the kind you'll read each holiday to recapture the love. Banished by her family for refusing to marry at their decree, Julian Mitchell becomes a teacher at an Indian school. When the school is closed, she feels responsible for her students. Widowed cowboy Lincoln Creed has no luck in finding a governess for his daughter, a housekeeper or a mail-order bride when he offers Julian his help. Julian agrees to stay at his ranch through the holiday, and a bit of seasonal magic, some help from the children, and a compromising situation thrust Lincoln and Julian into marriage, giving them the greatest gift of all, love and family. And I just thought, since it's on the cover, here it is, Silver Silence, we'd cover it. And, you know, I always have an issue with the fact that they put it's historical, but it's also paranormal, so they put it in historical. I'd put it in paranormal, but you know. It got 4.5 stars. Nash beautifully presents another slice of the Arthurian legend, featuring characters with great depth. She seamlessly merges the hero and heroine's maturation with the Druid legends as they move 300 years from 165 AD to help ensure Arthur's birth. This tale, full of adventure and romance, will suck you in and be long remembered as it moves to its startling and totally unexpected conclusion. Rias, a druid, is tasked with finding surviving druids and returning them to Avalon. He is forbidden from giving his heart to any woman. Because of this, Brenna, a seer who has loved Rias for years, goes to a sacred place to pray. Then she meets Margarine, who convinces her to help him save Legrine, a woman of the light. Rias follows Brina's trail and travels forward in time to find her. Meanwhile, Brenna uncovers a plot against Ingrid, and Rias agrees to reunite Ingrid with her beloved Arthur. When Rias admits how much he loves Brianna, the relationship reaches an unimaginable intensity. Okay, now the big one. Now the big one. Four and a half stars. And I would like to mention, just briefly, because I got these out, we have Outlander, Dragonfly in Amber, Voyager, Drums of Autumn, and Future, The Fiery Cross, and A Breath of Snow and Ashes. But right now, in this book, in this magazine, we are doing Echo in the Bone. It got 4.5 stars. Since Outlander readers have become invested in the lives of Jamie Fraser and his wife Claire, these are not simply fictional characters. They have come alive through Gabaldon's incredible storytelling. The eagerly awaited 7th volume offers a sweeping tale filled with breathtaking adventure and rich and accurate historical details. But it is the powerful human relationship that transcend time and space that moved Gabaldon's work out of the ordinary. This is nothing short of a masterpiece. The American Revolution is in full swing, as Jamie and his time-traveling wife Claire Randall, their nephew Ian, along with British Lord John Grey, and his soldier son William are caught up in several defining moments in history. The story moves from North Carolina to Philadelphia, Fort Ticonderoga, Canada, Scotland, England, and France, and there's adventure on the high seas, fighting in bloody wilderness, and overcoming hardships of the times. Only Claire knows the outcome of the war, but she never knows how the Frasers will fare or what personal prices they will pay. Meanwhile, their daughter Brianna, her husband Roger, and their children face another kind of struggle, readjusting to life in the 20th century while connecting with her parents through a cache of letters. Surprises arise as a connection to the modern-day Mackenzies, and the past surfaces with the appearance of another time traveler and a modern evil. Check it out. Okay, so some mainstream fiction. We're gonna have to do some of this, or maybe not. We'll see. Nicholas Sparks, bet you haven't heard of him. Wink, wink. I'm telling you, this magazine is still prevalent today. Still very prevalent today. Nicholas Sparks, The Last Song, 4.5 stars. Readers will be invested in this story from the beginning. That it's never too late to strengthen relationship with loved ones is a central focus, and it's exemplified by comparing life to a song, another emotional blockbuster. Ronnie Miller is not looking forward to spending the summer with her father, Steve, a former pianist with whom she has not spoken in 3 years. When Steve left his family, Ronnie abandoned the piano, their once shared passion, in protest of his seeming betrayal. When Ronnie is picked up for shoplifting, she's surprised that her father believes in her innocence. Once Ronnie discovers the secret Steve has been keeping all summer, her world is turned upside down. With first love and turtle hatchings in the mix, this is a shaping up to be an unforgettable summer. Her Fearful Symmetry by Audrey Niffenegger got 4 stars. Niffenegger's return after her gorgeous time traveler's wife is a dark and twisted tale, with some wonderful drawn characters, upstairs neighbor Martin in particular. She draws readers into her world and lets us feel as if we are wandering Highgate Cemetery on the streets of London. Some fantastic twists will keep readers turning pages into the night, though some of those excellent plot turns require a rather large suspension of belief. Though they've never met, their aunt, 20-year-old twins Valentina and Julia, inherit her London home upon Elizabeth's death. The twins have lived a suffocating, entwined life just as their mother and Elizabeth did decades before. When they arrive and settle into the home which borders Highgate Cemetery, they meet their neighbor Martin, stuck inside due to his crippling OCD, Robert, Elspeth's former lover, who works as a guide in the cemetery, and eventually Elspeth herself, trapped in the apartment, begins to haunt the girls. Karen White, the girl on LEGARE Street. 4 stars. While White has concocted a wonderful combination of ghostly presence, a bit of mystery, and some romance. Set in the South with all traditional history, the reader is drawn right in. The book ends on a mysterious note, so it's perfectly set up for a follow-up title. Melanie Middleton has become an expert on restoring historic houses, but isn't sure she has the heart to take on a different type of renovation project when her estranged mother reappears after more than 30 years. Jeanette returned to the project, the daughter she barely knows, after receiving an ominous premonition about her family home on LEGARE Street, which has just come on the market. Melody doesn't want to have anything to do with her mother, but with some gentle prodding and a big push from her friend Jack Trennan, she begins to rebuild the relationship as she helps her mother purchase the house. Since the women in the family have psychic abilities, the two expect to unearth some ghosts, but they're not prepared for what they find. They'll have to dig up some old family secrets to finally beat this demon and become a family again. Interesting. We also have some teen stuff, and I meant to look and I forgot. I thought there was, maybe it's in the next one. Teen. Freaks and Revelations, Davida Wills Herwin. Gripping and emotional, this book expertly captures the motivation and experience of the characters. Based on the true story of Tim Zoll and Matthew Bogger, this novel alternates telling both boys' stories before and after the night that changed their lives. Jason gets kicked out of the house at 13 for being gay. Doug comes from a troubled home and finds his release in punk music and violence. Their lives intersect in a terrible hate crime one night, and things will never be the same. Splendor. Gossip Girl for the Gilded Ages has now Anna Godburn series deluxe was billed when it debuted 2 years ago, and indeed the author has put her characters through some sappy paces over the past 3 years. Fortunes have been won and lost. There's been a secret marriage and a terrible tragedy and lots of fabulous dresses. Inspirational. I'm going to have to do a couple of these. Songs of Deliverance. Marilyn Griffith. Griffith pulls no punches when it comes to action, suspense, and juicy secrets. The incredible characters and dialogue will draw readers in as the heart-pounding plot keeps the pages turning. Griffith has a flair for bringing complicated situations together in a way you'll never saw coming. This is a must-read for anyone who's ever tried to make sense of life and God and failed. Joyce Rogers is dying from cancer and brings together 4 of her former students to help save Emmy Academy. Zelia grieves the loss of her unborn child and the relationship she once had with Ron. Ron always loved Zelia, but will past lives force him to make a costly mistake. Grace is afraid to love again after being assaulted, but she won't be able to run from her past for long. Brian struggled to keep the academy open with salvaging a dying relationship with Grace. The sins of the past gradually come to light as God begins to heal and make right what has been wrong for too long. Shades of Blue, Karen Kingsbury, 4.5 stars. Kingsbury is the master of emotional, thought-provoking fiction. This latest novel explores real forgiveness and what that looks like in the world we live in today. The characters are incredibly true to life, and readers will identify with their heartache and triumphs. Brad Cutler is weeks away from marrying the woman of his dreams. He has a promising career and the future is sparkling, yet he continues to be haunted by the way a past relationship ended. Brad knows that to move forward with his upcoming marriage, he must find his girlfriend and seek her forgiveness. Will his fiancée understand and set him free? this? Oh, that was the one. Let me look. Yep. I always put this with the vampire. She's a vampire author. Child of Darkness, Jennifer Armentrout. Well plotted with a myriad of strong conflicts and plenty of action. This quick-moving tale should please fantasy enthusiasts. There's far more emphasis on those aspects than character development. It's definitely not a romance, no matter what the spine says. 4 stars. Child of Darkness. 20 years in Fairy Queen Alla's reign, an upworld pay emissary to her court warns of coming aggression from the elves who have allied themselves with fearsome and powerful water horses. Fearing for her daughter Ceridian safety, and Alla announces the young woman's betrothal to her most trusted advisor, Cedric. Angered and thinking herself in love with elf Fenric, Serwyn flees, but Fenric betrays her and Serwyn is taken prisoner. Alla's consort Malachi sets out to bring Serwyn home, but her actions have brought war even closer. $70. Oh. Here you go. C.R. Wilson. $4 stars. This 4th chapter in what has turned into a quintet permanently works to set up for the final book. It's not a series that can be picked up in the middle because Wilson jumps directly into the fallout from the previous book. Cast out after using dark magic to save the Terran species, Rain and Alita won't back down from their fight to stop the advance of evil mages. One problem is that Elsa carries 4 mage marks and is in danger of being controlled by the High Mage of Eld. Only completing their mating bond can save her, but so far they haven't been able to. Upon learning of an advance by Eld army, Rain tries to build alliances, but Eld infiltrates makes that difficult. These are dark times indeed. Okay, one more. For sci-fi. Why do I really have this listed as sci-fi? Yeah, it's sci-fi. Alright, so are you enjoying this magazine as so much as I am? I can read this magazine for hours. The Morkai Battalion Recruit. The Morkai Battalion Recruit. It only got 2 stars. The first of 2 planned sequels to Kyle's The Mordecai Valiant, recently released under her Diane Palmer pseudonym, is rather disappointing. Kyle makes fundamental mistakes around military psychology and discipline, and her aliens don't really seem all that alien. The first half of the book is taken up with too much exposition, repetitive character development, and very little conflict or plot. Oh well, I guess this won't happen. Madeline Roselle is only one of 2 medical specialists familiar with anatomy of feline aliens who call themselves the Centaur. The first human female permitted to serve as a member of the Hullcam Uniboard, the Mokai. She persistently butts heads with Ditcham, the Centaur commander of the vessel. Okay. Let's move on. Alright, now, if you have not seen these videos, Please go check them out. All 60 of them. Let's just do this real quick. If you're into comics, we'll just show this real quick. But my all-time #1 favorite author in the entire world, my Eve Dallas with the New York City Police and Security Department. Peabody is her partner. McNabb is Peabody's live-in partner. Mavis Freestone is her best friend. And Leonardo is Mavis's husband. And I believe Bella has been born by yet. And Feeney is the captain of EDD. That's where McNabb works. Whitney's her boss. Mira is the shrink. Mr. Mira is her husband. He's a professor. Rourke is her husband. Somerset is her major domo. And Galahad is the cop. Nadine is our news reporter, future to have her own show and her own book series. We have Kindred in Death. 4.5 stars. This emotional quotient is high in this chapter of long-running and truly excellent in Death series. One key to its longevity is that the succeeding book adds a new layer of complexity to Eve, Rourke, and the rest of Robb's supporting players. Robb's ability to take readers from emotional highs to lows and insert a clever mystery is why the series never gets old. And please check out all my videos for these, including this one. A peaceful holiday home is shattered when Lieutenant Eve Dallas is abruptly called into work. 16-year-old daughter of a fellow police officer has been brutally raped and murdered. Shy teenager Dina McNasters is found by her parents when they return home from a trip. The staging of the crime indicates it's more personal and done for maximum pain. For Eve, Rourke, and Somerset expect of this case hits close to home. Deanna was targeted and stalked and murdered by a man pretending to like her. The cruelty was massive, which a case in her father's past could have endangered, and such hatred for revenge. A little bit of brainwashing. Oh, we also see Charles and Louise in this. It's a really good series. If you want a cop series, a homicide cop series, please check it out. And check out my If Then Homicide series too. I love this series. I can't say it. I could talk about it for hours, and I guess I have. Doing all the videos on it. The Wrong Side of Dead. Jordan Dane. The Wrong Side of Dead. 3 stars. When it's difficult to imagine people capable of horrific things we read about, fiction is often closer to the truth than we'd like it to be. Dane's characters seem to be written right from the headlines, and while it's disturbing to contemplate their histories, it gives us hope that everything and everyone will be all right. It gives us the power to fight for justice and to cheer those on, fictional or otherwise, who rally that fight. While there are many subplots that sometimes seem to be a bit entangled, this novel epitomizes the fist in the air. Jessie Beckett is a bounty hunter with a horrible past. Kidnapped as a child and sexually assaulted for years, she now fights for justice. Not close with the many, Jessie has 2 people she loves and trusts, her friend Seth and Samantha Cooper, a police officer who often helps Jessie despite her unconventional methods. Seth has vanished, leaving Jessie feeling hurt and betrayed. When he shows up, he's accused of a brutal murder. Jessie throws herself into proving Seth's innocence, but her detective work turns up some information that Seth breaks her heart and puts her in grave danger. Now, what did I do with this book? Mystery, suspense, and thriller. Tell me you haven't heard of Alex with James Patterson. His books are still prevalent today. People still read them, and we will. As soon as I'm trying to collect some of the earlier ones to go through these, But this is one of my next series to be going through. Alex Cross rules. There's no way to spend a rainy afternoon than curled up with the latest episode in the career of Alex Cross. This got 4.5 stars, by the way. This time, the hunt for a crazed serial killer takes Alex into the hallowed halls of the White House, and the next body could be laid out at the president's front door. Cross is at Patterson at his best, serious, charming, and insightful, and the finale will leave you gripping as a master delivers edge-of-your-seat suspense. A phone call during his birthday party hurls Detective Alex Cross into one of his most dangerous and heartbreaking cases. Someone has murdered his beloved but estranged niece Carolyn, and he vows to hunt down the killer. Alex soon learns that Carolyn was a high-class call girl mixing with Washington's high and mighty in some of the wildest sex anyone can recall. More to the point, she wasn't the killer's only victim. As his investigation parallels the FBI's, Alex begins to wonder if they're helping or hindering. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that the answers will rock the nation to its foundation. Grave Secrets, 4.5 stars. A core mystery running through the Grave series has been the fate of Harper Connolly's long-missing sister. Cameron, in the fourth installment, that question is confronted with devastating consequences. The evolving relationship between Harper and stepbrother Tolliver continues to be the heart of a series that is often about the darkness of souls. For once, Harper and Tolliver are able to combine a visit to their sister in northern Texas with paying job. Lizzie and Kate Joyce want Harper to read their grandfather's grave to know how he died, but another grave nearly causes some consternation. Harper reveals that Mariah Parrish died in childbirth, while everyone was told it was a burst appendix. Soon after, Harper and Tolliver visit their young half-sisters Mara and Grace, never dreaming of the danger stalking them. First, Tolliver is shot, then a cop standing next to Harper is gunned down. Who is trying to kill Harper and why? The twisted trail leads to the past and devastating revelations. Here we go. This is another series I'm trying to gain all the books for. What Remains of Heaven, C.S. Harrison, and I did these in a if you like detective mysteries and with an ME involved. This is one of the earliest MEs. So it got 4.5 stars. From dissolute and dissolution to insightful and probing, Sebastian St. Cyr of Viscount Devlin has evolved into a fascinating and effective detective as he moves stealthily among the tongue to investigate murders in London's upper echelon. Harris' deft touch with the atmosphere and history weaves a rich tapestry for his complex tale of murder driven by fear. The first-class historical mystery will put Harris in the stratosphere of some of the best historical writers. The Archbishop of Canterbury asks Sebastian to help investigate the mystery of two corpses found in an ancient crypt. Their violent deaths separated by decades. The first is the Bishop of London, who was the Archbishop's heir, a controversial figure among the time. But before he can solve that murder, Sebastian has to identify the second body and how it relates to the feisty bishop. Sebastian's suspects list include the Prince Regent, closest friend, and expatriate William Franklin, son of American patriot Ben. Along the way, he must also confront some dark family secrets that will undoubtedly affect his life. Mary, Mary Ghost, Carolyn Hart. There aren't many heavenly rules that impetuous ghost Bailey Ruth Rayburn won't overlook, if not break out to help her human charges. Hart's the celestial messenger is a hoot, funny, outrageous, fashion-conscious, even a ghost has to look good, whether she's seen or not, and readers will chuckle out loud at the antics in this heavenly Christmas mystery. Got 4 stars. Flamboyant, warm-hearted, and enthusiastic ghost Bailey Ruth has been assigned to protect a small boy deposited on his grandmother's porch just before Christmas. With warnings to mind the heavenly ruse, Bailey is dispatched to Earth to find out which of the rich woman's greedy heirs is willing to commit murder to keep him from inheriting. CLEO COYLE, the holiday grind. Coffeehouse manager Claire Crosey and her band of merry men lead leaders on a wild and hilarious ride to find out who killed Santa in this witty and intelligent cozy. Got 4 stars. Claire's determination to find out who killed her friend, a part-time comic and genial charity Santa, puts her in some colorful situations. She gets pinned in a dumpster after she's caught climbing up a fire escape to look for evidence and butts heads with a new cop who doesn't seem to respect her theories. With her boyfriend, NYPD Detective Mike Quinn, involved in his own cold case, Claire winds up investigating on her own and getting into an unusual amount of trouble. Sounds good. And another series that I'm also trying to compile to do, and I'll probably do the latest one before I get to these. I love Angelica Reseda. Book plate special, 4 stars. This third top-notch Booktown mystery is cleverly plotted with everything a reader could want. Mystery books, delicious food, and bad guys. Bookstore owner Trisha Miles has had enough of her freeloading former college roommate Pammy, who has taken up residence in her apartment for the last 2 weeks. When Trisha catches Pammy stealing money from her, she asks her to leave. Later, Trisha spots Pammy at a charity dedication ceremony where she's harassing a generous benefactor, Stuart Page. She wonders what her old friend is up to, and when Pammy is found dead, Trisha knows it's something serious. Now Trisha must determine what a secret diary, a wealthy benefactor, and a dump of dumpster-diving freegans had to do with Pammy's death. A historical Christmas promise. Anne Perry, 4 stars. There's something quite lovely about Perry's Victorian Christmas stories. Readers are practically guaranteed a touching holiday tale wrapped around a grisly murder. The contrast is fascinating, and in the story, though sometimes difficult to plow through because of Cockney dialogue, is meticulously laid out and hard to put down. Just days before Christmas, 13-year-old Gracie Phillips meets 8-year-old Minnie Maud Mudway on a freezing street in London's notorious East End. Minnie Maud, bereft and alone and determined to find her friend Charlie, a donkey who belonged to her uncle Alf. Alf has been brutally murdered and someone made off with the rag and bones cart, as well as Charlie. Grace joins poor little Millie Maud on his quest, and the two follow the usual path Uncle Alf followed to his death. He was not on his regular route, and the cart held more than the usual bits of china and silver. As the girls are drawn deeper into the adult world of thievery and murder, they find an unexpected friend in shop owner Balthazar. Interesting. I think. Now, contemporary romance. Let me just move these a little bit. Can you see how you can find new authors in this magazine today? I hope you will go back and watch all of my other. I started in 2007. We did all of 2008. This is the end of 2009, and we will continue with 2010. So I hope you are really enjoying these and following through. Although my analytics say that you only watch the first 50 seconds, but I'm hoping you've watched more. I put a lot of work into these series, this Flashback Monday and Star Trek and If Then and my daily book reviews. I do a lot of work. I've done over 900 videos thus far. And as of this recording, now maybe once this hits, I have yet to hit 200. I may hit 200 subscribers, but as of yet, as of this recording, I have not. But maybe by Christmas I could reach 1,000. Although the way I'm going, it took me 6 months to gain 20 subscribers, and then I lost 20 subscribers. So I had to gain them back 6 months. It's just been tight. I shouldn't go on about that. So Hot on Her Heels, 4.5 stars. The final chapter in Mallory's series featuring the Titan sisters wraps up in a splendid style as the bonds of family are tested to the max. As demonstrated in this compelling story, family doesn't have to share blood, just emotion. Filled with emotional drama, devastating treachery, and the power of his love, this finale will delight fans. The Titan sisters, Lexi, Sky, and Izzy, have been reeling from their actions, both the tyrannical father, Jed Titan, and the vengeful half-brother, Garth Duncan. Their sister's best friend, Deputy Dana Birch, has been on a mission to take down the man she believes is hurting her friends. Garth is amused by Dana's persistence since he has been very careful in his actions, but the discovery that Jed ordered the explosion that nearly killed Lizzie to frame Garth puts a new spin on the event. It happened one night. Now I have a Stephanie Lawrence book that says "Happened One Night" too, but this isn't her. It happened one night. There we go. Lisa Dale. Now I lost the page. Dale, it's got 4 stars, 4.5 stars. Dale is adept at weaving beautiful, romantic, heart-wrenching stories. She pays attention to the finest details and the effects that wind out of you. Every single scene, conflict, character conflict, and reaction is perfect. The only downside is that the story concludes, which means our time with these wonderful characters has come to an end. Lorna Beale has devoted much of her life to her sister Karen. Karen's business and her best friend Eli, always saying to herself that someday she'll travel the world. When she discovers she's pregnant, Lana realizes that someday is in real jeopardy. Torn between giving her sister the baby she's always dreamed of and keeping the baby she's beginning to love, Lana turns to her best friend for emotional support. She becomes dependent on Eli, however, is tired of being just her friend and longs for something more. Lana is afraid to want Eli as much as she does. She needs him, and the risk of romantic entanglement may be too much. When Eli confesses the love, she will take the risk, especially now that she needs his friendship more than ever. And One Night with You, 4.5 stars. Ray turns the Grayson Friends series with the eldest McBride brother, Duncan Ruth Grayson, is forced to reckon with as she sets her matchmaking sights on Faith's brother, since there's no such thing as happily in single Ruth's world. When Ruth, arranging the details of Raven, arrives at Duncan Montana Ranch to explore Native American cave drawings recently discovered on his property, Raven's only interest in her research in obtaining tenure, and Duncan is simply a means to that end. While Duncan understands the importance of the find, he is intent on keeping the details secret to avoid turning his ranch into a tourist spot. Needless to say, in a swarmy lawyer working for a land developer who is at odds with Duncan's desire to keep the land as pristine. And my author's alter ego, my favorite author's alter ego, Nora Roberts, got 4 stars. Bed of Roses. The wedding business is booming for 4 childhood friends, but their own love lives could use some assistance. One interesting element of this series is how relationships that have developed over the years can suddenly change. In this second book, the focus of the story is on florist Emma, who must juggle the reality of love with her misty childhood dreams. It's spring, which means the poor partners of vows, Parker, Laura, Emma, and Mac, are enmeshed in the madness of wedding season. Thankfully, business ain't brisk, even though it means having to deal with bridezillas. One of the friends, Emma, has been the most socially active, but her heart has not been engaged until she sees old friend and architect Jack. Jack has been a player and is not big on commitment, but plus he knows that any relationship with Emma runs the risk of damaging his lifelong friendship with his best friend Dell. Despite the odds, Emma and Jack are willing to chance in love. Okay, I think that's it with that. Now, paranormal. Lord, I thought this was going to be a quick one. Bound to Shadows, Carrie Arthur. Two halves of guarding Riley Jensen's soul are heading for a smackdown. Riley's journey has never been easy, but this book ricochets things up a whole new level. Someone is beheading local vampires. It's up to Riley to figure out who and stop them. Her job gets a lot harder when she discovers that her wolf soulmate, Kai, has returned to town. Kai is a dangerous mercenary with no conscience or scruples, and the fact that it takes everything Riley has to resist his sexual pull frightens her. Riley and her vampire lover Quinn are in a good place in their relationship, and Riley doesn't want to screw it up. But more importantly, she doesn't want Kai to threaten her family and friends. As the vampire deaths continue to pile up, so does the fear factor. Oh, Lord. I have made a mess. Oh, I never got this. Oh, it's probably up there. Apocalypse Happens, 3 stars. The latest Phoenix Chronicles is a dark story with a dark heroine and scenarios we just don't want to imagine. Handlin amplifies the pace and the circumstances so that readers can't help but turn the page. Yet there's almost too much going on, too many internal conflicts, and one too many lovers that the novel runs the risk of being in excess. Elizabeth Phoenix is once again charged with saving the world. The gates to hell have been opened and Armageddon seems imminent. Her mother holds the key to everything, and Liz needs all the help she can get. Torn between two lovers and the two sides of a soul, Liz will have to decide who lives, who dies, and which side she's on. Interesting. Darkness Unleashed, 4.5 stars. Torture and captivity are two things Ivy's newest protagonists have in common in the latest Guardian of Entity tale. You can see why Ivy is known for creating spunky heroines who face adversity on and don't back down easily. Having survived centuries of torture, Vampire Jagger now spends his time alone in the library. But Jagger still has responsibilities, so when Essos Styx sets him on a mission, Jagger has little choice but to comply. When another of Styx's wives, Darcy Stolen Pureblood Sisters, has been located, it's up to Jagger to bring her back. Having spent her life being tortured and caged by a nasty imp, Reagan has only one thing on her mind: revenge. To read Asheron. He was tortured to death too. Me and My Shadow, 4.5 stars. Hail, hail, the gang's all here for the ripping new installment of Silver Dragon Saga. One thing you can be sure of in McAllister's novel is that there will be plenty of outlandish scenarios as well as passionate encounters. Doppelganger May and her Wyvern Gabriel are still searching for a way to safely remove the dragon shard from May's heart and get her released from her bond to sex-crazed ex-demon Lord Magath. Then there's the problem of the apparent resurrection of the dangerous black dragon Baltic. No one knows Baltic's agenda, but the black dragon Kaista is determined to call a dragon Sarkany. Complicating matters further is the imminent birth of Aislinn and Drake's baby. With this many power struggles in the offing, things are bound to get dicey. 3 times in this video. Bang, 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 bang. 9. It's just right. Deep Kiss of Winter. This steamy duet is a delightful. Cole and Showalter join them formidable towns to create mythic worlds and hunky heroes and heroines. You can't help but root for. Cole is at her best creating mythology, and Showalter's characters build flawless. 4 stars. Cole's Untouchable follows the tempestuous love between Vampire Murdoch and Daniela, who are unable to stand each other's touch. Will they be able to withstand temptation? In Showalter's Tempt Me Eternally, shapeshifter ally is taken prisoner by fisherman turned warlord Bean, but his captive threatens carefully organized existence. Will Bean admit that sometimes the universe has its own plans? Dark Stranger, 4 stars. Leave it to Sizemo to find a clever way to export her popular Vampire Prime series to outer space. Zoe Pappas is the heir to Brizen Empire. She also trained diplomat on a secret mission when the ship she's on is captured by the warring Hajim. The Hajim don't realize who she is, so Zoe is taken to an underground prison of war camp on a remote planet. Interesting. Okay. Alright. Harlequin. Where is it? Zero Control. Here we go. Zero Control. Air Force Captain Dougal Lockhart and Roxy Stanley have been romantically betrayed, so they have trust issues when they meet. Dougal, who provides private duty air security, has been hired by the owner of Fantasy Adventure Vacations to protect them against sabotage. A trip to England has produced a letter threatening the safety of the aircraft. Roxy's boss has promised her more money if she'll be a corporate spy. The boss wants to copy the company's trips and move into Ireland. Roxy and Dougal are immediately attracted, but current circumstances and their emotional scars make a relationship dangerous. Chantal Shore, the Greek billionaire's innocent princess. There we go. 3 stars. A close friend of Prince Sebastian Arstra, Greek tycoon Nicholas, is at a royal function when he happens into an empty room and demands that the server get him a drink. Princess Kitty Karatides is no waitress, but she doesn't feel confident about identifying herself. Later, she goes to a private cove for a swim. Nicholas finds her and is blown away before the evening is over. The two know each other intimately, but Nico still doesn't know who she is. When Kitty learns she's pregnant, she tells her brother but won't reveal who the father is. Interesting. A Man Worth Loving, Kimberly Van Meter. Left a widower with his wife dead after giving birth to their son, Sammy Havelson finds it hard to even look at young Ian, a painful reminder of the woman he loved. But when his mother bullies him into hiring Audrey Rose as a nanny, Audrey helps him get over his hurt and be a good father. But in the midst of helping Sammy with his troubles, Audrey must deal with a few of her own, in the form of her mother and sister coming to visit after a wealthy father cuts them off and files for divorce. It got 4 stars. Linda Turner, His Wanted Woman. 4.5 stars. After a heartbreaking end to a relationship and the unexpected death of her father, Mackenzie Sloan has buried herself in the antique bookstore he left her. When a handsome man comes in, she thinks life is on the upswing until he accuses her of selling stolen antiquities. Federal agent Patrick O'Reilly is on the trail of a criminal who sold documents stolen from the National Archives. After a devastating end to his marriage, he claims he's done with women. Then he meets Mackenzie, but she seems to be a criminal. Turner gets O'Reilly Brothers series off to an entertaining start. This outing has an engaging plot, and it's terrific fun watching two people who vowed never to fall in love again fight it every inch of the way. Thanksgiving Target, Laura Scott. Right there. 3 stars. The abuse that puts social worker Tara Carmichael and client Melissa in the hospital introduces her to Melissa's brother, Lieutenant Max Forster, newly arrived on leave from Iraq, determined to find the man who beat his sister. Max also winds up working to protect Tara when he discovers that she has a dangerous stalker. Tara believes God is leading her to help Max renew his faith, but she feels her attraction to him is disloyal to the husband she lost 18 months ago. So we'll see. And I have Jake, but I don't have Luke, so I can't bring it over here. Shane McCrae. The second book in the Armed and Dangerous series is even better than Zach. That's the one I have over there, Zach. The cowboys are to die for, the heroine is smart and independent, and the underlying plot is inspired by current headlines. The sex is as hot as the Arizona setting. Trinity has come home to Flying M Ranch for the holidays, despite some trepidation. At a party her first night back, she's intimately smitten with Luke, the Flying M's foreman. But Luke does more than supervise the other hands. He's an undercover special agent for the DEA. Trinity and her sister Skylar are in terrible danger. Someone wants to use the ranch as an entry point for drug smuggling. Oh, I had that, Sunny. Sunny was an author. A one-name author. One more. Sweet Seduction, Maya Banks. Let me just take my sticky note. Sweet Seduction. It's a menage a trois book. Banks hits the red zone with erratic relationships that cover a range of possibilities, from menage a trois to BSDM. Salon owner and massage therapist Julie Stanford wants Nathan Tucker, but he seems oblivious. Now she's trying to forget him at the house where sexual fantasies are fulfilled. Hers is with two anonymous men. Nathan and his friends step in as lovers, and Julie, blindfolded, she suspects nothing. When Nathan finally reveals what he's done, Julie is angry and gets revenge with a set of handcuffs and loving domination. Okay. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have stayed through all of them. Oh, I'll just mention Sandheim and Siren were other good ones. So that is the end of November 2009 Romantic Times book reviews. Look at all the books we've done today. Over 30 books. So I hope you will hit the like and subscribe. I hope you will check out all my Flashback Mondays and my Star Trek recaps and my If Then and my daily book reviews. Thank you.